Good morning, St. George's. I'm Spencer Grohovsky, a senior at Montgomery Bell Academy, and next year I'll be attending the University of South Carolina. My journey with St. George's began in 1995 with the wedding of my two parents, Tonzi and Bob, and as you can assume, I've been around this place of worship ever since. I've gone through what you could loosely call the traditional Episcopal experience, with the baptism, catechesis classes, Sunday school, confirmation, all the works. But in all my 19 years here, there are three moments that I believe best encapsulate the lessons I've learned. It wasn't until confirmation that I began to comprehend the idea of a relationship with God. We were prompted with questions to answer and share with our sponsors to think about this subject. And I distinctly remember sitting on my screened-in porch with my sponsor, Lee Mitchell, and talking about God in a personal context for the very first time. That's when I had the realization that God not only desires a relationship with all of us as a community, but also a personal relationship with me that goes much deeper. Fast forward to this summer in Honduras. In the weeks preceding the mission trip, all I could hear about from my friend David was how much fun it was going to be and how much the girls look forward to seeing our group. And he was right. The second that you step off the bus in the Our Little Roses facility, you're showered with love till the moment you leave. It was one of those moments where you can see God in every person that's interacting with you at almost any time. It was incredible to me that I could feel so loved by strangers who quickly became what we call family. And throughout that week, the joy and love between our group quickly became a manifestation of God's undying love in my eyes. And lastly, this year, I was asked to teach Sunday school one week. While the rest of the youth was on a ski retreat, I prepared an outline for a class that centered around the different contexts of the word love. The obvious difference between romantic love, love for one's family member, and love for one's enemy. The conversation quickly changed into a focus on the idea that love doesn't actually have any boundaries, but we are built in God's image, and His love is unfailing, sacrificial, and infinite. In 1 John 4:16 it says, "And so we know and rely on the love God has for us. God is love. Whoever lives in love lives in God, and God in them." I felt that lesson resonate with the 8 or so middle schoolers in the room, and that was one of the proudest moments I've ever had in or outside the walls of this church. Lastly, I'd like to finish by saying that I thank God, I thank my family, and this entire community for all the lessons I've learned and all the opportunities I've had these last 19 years. I encourage all the youth watching this to get involved in either the Sunday school, church ball, plenty of the trips that we have. They're all amazing, and I encourage you as much as possible. Thank you all for your time this morning, and go Dragons.
Thank you, Spencer. That was impressive, and you are an impressive young man. Pray for you as you go forth to the University of South Carolina. And I would like, in my privileged role as rector here, to offer a prayer of commissioning over our graduating high school seniors. Invite parents and siblings or grandparents at home, wherever you're watching this, to stand and lay your hands on your senior as I offer up this prayer. And I do want to say that I cannot imagine there's a single person graduating from high school now who wanted or could have envisioned a final semester like you've been having. And my prayer, in addition to what I'm about to say, is that God will be working in this time to strengthen you in steadfastness and character, and that there will be life lessons learned now that will be a blessing to you and others for the rest of your days. So would you pray with me? God our Father, you see your children growing up in an unsteady and confusing world. Show them that your ways give more life than the ways of the world, and that following you is better than chasing after selfish goals. Help them to take failure, not as a measure of their worth, but as a chance for a new start. Give them strength to hold their faith in you and to keep alive their joy in your creation. I pray this in the name of God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit.